To save me a bit of time, I'm no longer going to be putting the actual claim number below the claims that are being dismissed. Instead, I'm just going to make some templates that I can just put out there each time, because I don't want to have to keep going back to Photoshop and updating it for every claim, because he makes a lot of false claims that he doesn't actually back up, and so on and so forth. So this is just to make it more easy for me. So let's get started.
However, unlike the young Earth creationists like NephilimFree, who just claim it happened without ever actually providing any evidence or any explanation of how that evidence shows that the Earth was made by such a catastrophic event, science has provided a scientific explanation of how long ago the chain of islands and seamounts had been formed and how that formation took place.
That's another lie.
Oh really? Then why can't you provide any actual explanation with evidence for how the Hawaiian Islands formed?
Creationists have all kinds of information about this, about the formation of the Earth, and about the Noachian flood, and about how, the plate tectonics of the Earth, and about islands, and about the water patterns, the erosion patterns across the continents, and oh man, the list goes on and on and on and on. It's mountains of stuff.
Oh, nobody disagrees you have mountains of information. We call this creationist propaganda. That's why, so far, you haven't been able to prove anything. It's just lots and lots of claims with no actual evidence.
What are you talking about? Of course, you're doing this, the age-old evolutionist, I'm blind and I can't see it either, game of, what evidence? I don't see no evidence. What are you talking about? You know, on YouTube alone, sport, there are probably thousands of videos by scientists who explain creation.
Don't forget to add that many of the so-called real scientists making creationist arguments got their degree from diploma mills or don't even have a degree at all and are just claiming to be scientists. And those that at least really do have a PhD don't even have their degree in the specific scientific field that they're arguing in. However, if they really do have degrees in the required field that they're making an argument in, it doesn't matter, seeing that they have yet to provide any evidence that the Earth is young, just like you have yet to provide any evidence that the Earth is young. Alright, with that out of the way, let's fast forward to something a little more interesting.
It's where the islands have formed one after another as the plates move slowly westward in a conveyor belt fashion over the hotspot. The island moves westward as they get older and older. I'm not just talking about more loaded, I'm talking about actual scientific tests that can be done to get the ages of each island and each seamount.
Nobody argues that there's not a plume of some kind that created the Hawaiian Islands. But you see, your concept of these layers being greatly old was proven wrong by Surtsey Island. And current geologic activity on the Hawaiian Islands. However, I'm going to provide some scientific information here for you because you say I never have and never do.
Well, it's about time! Bring on this scientific evidence. Let's see what you got.
Which was a lie. This is going to be evidence that refutes your claim. You see, you believe that this big plume popped up, and as the islands, the crust of the Earth moved slowly over this plume, the islands popped up one at a time. That's not what happened. That's not what the data supports.
I will leave the claim about the data not supporting what is in my video until after you have finally presented your claim of what you say is evidence. However, your claim that what is in my video is what I believe is not true. What is in my video is only what has been scientifically proven. There are hypotheses that have not yet been proven and that I believe are part of the creation of the Hawaiian Islands. I just will not present a hypothesis as evidence or as a fact, at least until it has been proven. It's like how I believe in the membrane hypothesis when it comes to the Big Bang Theory. Just because I believe the membrane hypothesis may be proven true one day does not mean that I will present it as fact in a video because it is what I believe. I leave my beliefs out of science unless proven true.
The information I'm providing to you comes from a study, an article written by scientists proposing that a much bigger seismographic project be made to create seismographic images of this plume area. I'm going to read some excerpts from these, and then you're going to see the evidence supports my idea, my creation model, and not yours. They state, since the Pacific plate is moving relatively quickly, the pace of a fingernail grows, the plate is dragging some of its material downstream. These processes manifest themselves in the almost 1,000 kilometer wide and more than 1,500 kilometer long Hawaiian swell. Okay, so now they're stating that this plume has been dragged. Okay, that goes against the idea that a plume can come up out of the earth and be millions of years old in one location. You see, the plume has been dragged. We'll go on. In recent years, the plume hypothesis has been subject of great debate. No single field in the geosciences can prove or disprove the validity of the plume hypothesis.
Well, NephilimFree, your claim that the plume hypothesis is evidence has just been dismissed. You are presenting an unproven hypothesis as evidence for what you claim. Unfortunately, you can't use something unproven to prove something. It doesn't work like that. But when it becomes proven, you can present it as evidence. Until then, your claim is dismissed. However, I'm not sure you're going to want to present it as evidence. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against the plume hypothesis. Why? Because I said before, there are hypotheses that I believe and will not present as evidence until unproven. And you know what? The plume hypothesis is one such hypothesis that I believe. And right about now, you're probably wondering, why do I believe in the plume hypothesis and accept the age of the Hawaiian Islands being millions of years old? Because, NephilimFree, I understand the hypothesis, something you either don't understand or you're just picking and choosing parts of the hypothesis out and are ignoring the rest. See, NephilimFree, think of the plume hypothesis as an amendment to the current hotspot theory. The plates are still moving, the island is still being made in a conveyor-like fashion, the timelines for the formations is the same. The formations are slightly different, but they're still relatively the same. It just has an added twist to the current model of the hotspot theory. Even the website you cited makes it clear that plates are moving and being subducted when it says this. Again, your claim is dismissed due to the fact you're using something unproven to try and prove something that has already been disproven by the evidence that shows an old Earth, which I have and continue to provide evidence for in my video series where I educate you on the age of the Hawaiian Islands. So let's skip forward past this to save some time to this screenshot. The first two we know are completely true because we have evidence for. The third one you give there about the Hawaiian Islands, well, again,
with. There may be still magma coming up from it, but the big part of it, which formed the islands, has come and gone, and that's why the islands are there. They've already stated, let's go back over that it was dragged. You see? So now, your idea of the plates moving over millions of years, and this big stationary plume, and the islands came up real slow, one after another, as they slowly moved across this plume, is not supported by the data.
That claim is dismissed, especially seeing that the calculations for the plume hypothesis have the plume going at a very slow rate. Heck, the fastest calculations for the hypothesis have it traveling at 8 centimeters a year. Way too slow to have it accomplishing what you claim it has done. But then again, you have not done any real research on the hypothesis. You've just picked what you wanted from that website and ignored the rest so that you can manipulate the hypothesis to fit your creationist worldview. And yes, I will include a source for my claim to the right, seeing that it is not included in my sources in my Educating You series.
My creation model, which says that the plates of the Earth were moving very rapidly during the Noachian flood, dragged that plume with it and created the islands, and thinned at southwest of the island because the greater part of the plume was dragged with it, supports the creation model. So you see, geology supports the Noachian flood, doesn't it?